I'm so happy you're here at Gamescom, and I'm so happy that I can introduce 3 nerds with 3 mics, and yeah, basically zero clue what they are talking about. And they will also bring a special guest, but they will announce the special guest by themselves. So welcome to the stage, 3 lovely people, and 1 person will come before that. It's Ralph, Lucy, and Jake. A big round of applause.
Hello, Gamescom.
Better get up there. Oh, I found it.
Hello, welcome to the first ever Friends Per Second live show. My name is Hussein, but you are not here to see me. You are here to spend a little time with 3 of the smartest and funniest podcasters in the business. Before I bring them out, I need you all to do me a little favor. As I said, this is the first time that Friends Per Second has been happening live in front of this audience of users. And that means this is also the first opportunity we've got to show the crew how much we love and appreciate the FPS podcast. They see your comments, they see your likes, but you cannot beat a live audience hooting and hollering. So I'm going to bring them out one by one. But when I do, I need you to put your hands together and clap as loud as you can. I need you to shout at the top of your voice. I'm going to need some hooting, some hollering. Let's make the gang feel welcome and show them how excited you are to be here. Ready? Are you ready? All right. First up, we have a man that talks so much about Destiny 2 that you might think he's running a pyramid scheme in it. The creator of the best news show on YouTube, it's Skill Up. That was good. I'm going to need you to go a little louder for the next one. Okay? Ready? Okay. Louder this time. Next up, we have the coolest cat in the industry with impeccable hair and even better taste in games. He's my brother in Metal Gear fandom, Jake Baldino.
Yeah!
Yeah, that's good. That's
What's
good.
up?
Okay, this is the last one,
All
so
right.
give it
Not bad.
everything. Leave it all on the floor. Ready? Rounding off the Friends Per Second, it's a woman that flew all the way from San Francisco to collect a pair of limited edition 9 Inch Nails boots.
Yeah.
And also the best presenter, producer, and video game commentator in the business, it's Lucy James! Good job, good job.
Tamar Hussein, everyone.
Thank you, Tam. Wow.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
This is a new experience.
This is extremely new. This is the very first time. I mean, I've been on YouTube now for 8 years. You've been on it for like 17.
Forever, yeah.
Right. This is the very first time I've ever done anything live. Lucy, you do this all the time, though. This is like very natural to you, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, come on. Did you do like a panel at Comic-Con?
2.
Yeah, okay, right. Fair enough. Okay, cool.
No, it is a completely different experience doing it in front of a live audience, and we are so thankful that you are all here. Everyone at home, obviously, we really appreciate. We had so many messages from people being like, we really wish we could come, and hopefully we will get the chance to do more of this because we love hanging out, don't we, boys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a damn shame Australia's so far, man. Do you know how long I traveled to be here?
How long?
30 hours. Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Respect. So it does actually make it very special to hang out because it's like we really have to work for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And thank you guys for standing.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we're
we
sitting.
didn't know there were going to be
We're
no
really
seats,
sorry.
Yeah, we
by
didn't
the
know
way.
that.
We
So
saw
thank
the
you.
stage and we're like, oh, okay, all right. So
We'll try and make it worth your while. though.
we do have some very special guests. We got some stuff lined up. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. But how was your trip here?
Good. This is
Yeah.
my first Gamescom ever. It is.
Is it?
Thank
Oh,
you.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's
Is it your first
terrifying.
time?
I'm going to do some pandering. How nice is Cologne? Yeah.
It actually is.
Cologne's
yeah.
actually beautiful though,
yeah.
for real. Like, it's
Public
amazing.
transit, great. Oh,
booing
we got
Cologne?
haters.
What the hell?
A Cologne hater? Is this your first time in Germany?
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
I'm trying.
Is
I'm
anyone
trying.
here actually from Cologne proper? Like, does anyone here live in Cologne? Okay, like
Yeah.
2 people. Okay.
Great city.
Oh, no, it's over here.
Fair enough. But it's nice. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes.
And you've been before.
I've been once before,
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 pre-pandemic, and yeah, I hung out a bit. It was amazing, and yeah, but it's nice to be back. Beautiful.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Like, coming from the UK, Gamescom was always the show we got to go to
Yeah,
the
totally.
most because it's, relatively speaking, much closer than E3. And I've always loved Cologne, the people,
Yeah.
the tiny beers. Do people actually like Kolsch? People.
It's weird because we know in Australia when we think German, we think massive beers. We just think the Steins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, small beers. We're like, what's up with that?
It makes
what
more
is-
sense.
Yeah, it does, I suppose. They
Right?
don't get as warm by the end.
That's the whole thing, right?
okay,
Yeah.
it's
Doesn't go
very
flat
clever.
either.
That's very smart. So
Gamescom, though, has been a real experience. Like, everybody is just, the energy's really good here.
Yeah.
I totally dig it. From developers I've met to just like regular folks here just to have fun.
Yes.
It's been really cool. It just
Yeah.
feels totally different.
it does actually, yeah, because it's actually a consumer show. Because usually when we travel, like we used to do E3, which had some consumers, but then obviously that's done now, which is very sad. Now it's Key 3. And like Jeff Keighley's thing, and unfortunately that's only media, you know, which has its benefits obviously, but at the same time it's nice to actually see people and like talk to people, and people come up to you and they're like, hey man, you're like, hey, what's up, you know? So
Yeah, and see a line around the block for the Roblox booth and be like, I've never even played that.
I don't know what that is.
I don't even know what that
anything about
is.
that.
The giant cat coming out of the ceiling is my personal favorite. of all
What? What
the-
is this?
You haven't seen the giant cat?
No, where is this?
Has anyone else seen the giant cat on the show floor? Immediate like meeting point. Oh, I'll meet you at the cat coming out of the portal in the ceiling. I think
Who
it's,
is he
Which
here
hall
for?
is this?
it's next to Xbox.
Okay, okay.
It's
Okay.
I think it's the
Six. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think it's that like Sims-like game that I think
Oh.
Krafton are doing.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we were talking about what we were going to do for the live show. We mentioned it. We're obviously going to do impressions from what we've been playing at Gamescom. We do have some very special guests
Yes.
joining us a little bit later on because we have something to do first. But obviously we have the lovely Ben Starr.
Yes. Woo!
My
He's,
goat.
Yeah.
dearest,
favorite.
dearest friend
Yeah.
of the podcast at this point.
Friend
I
of
don't think
the
there
pod.
is any better friend of the podcast than Ben Starr. We love him. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And joining us is first Friends Per Second
Yeah.
appearance. We have Alex Jordan
Yep.
as
Woo.
well.
you may not know him, but you will definitely know him very soon.
Definitely.
Like he's got a lot of stuff coming up. Extremely talented. So yes,
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. So
Before
yeah.
we jump into that, we were talking about what we would do. Because normally, you know how at the end of the show we do show and tell, and
Yeah.
we talk about things that we're doing that aren't gaming. It's usually like a TV show or a movie.
complaining
or a show.
about some movie.
Yeah, complaining
totally.
about some movie.
Yeah.
So Alien Romulus.
Hey, let's do a Romulus
Yeah.
discourse.
No, I
Let's
haven't
go.
seen it
Yeah, totally.
The thing is that I'm going to be the tiebreaker on the next episode. I'll be talking about
Yeah.
Romulus. But we thought, because we're traveling here today, we thought we might as well bring
Yes.
gifts from our homeland to present to each other.
Yes.
You brought a big bag on stage, and now I'm really afraid that I have not gone big enough.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about doing treats.
I like to spoil my friends.
All right,
don't
I'm
know.
ready.
So,
okay, what do you
yeah.
got?
What you got?
Do
Shall
you
I
have
go?
like New York slice in there or what?
Just a bag of cheese.
That's right. I want to see it. What have you got? What do you got?
Just do a
I was
little
gonna say-
Okay,
do
all right.
bits. Just
Does it require preparation time?
what? No.
Smooth, man. Very
I was
smooth.
going to say the air miles on all of these treats.
Okay, so
Sure.
it was hard to come up with quintessential American stuff. I don't know.
That you could get through customs.
Yes.
Yep.
So I decided to go with outfits.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
The angle I was going for was essentially the end of Pulp Fiction when Travolta and Samuel
Of
Jackson
course.
are just.
Sure.
Drenched.
That's how we dress.
Of course.
So I'll go with Lucy first. Hang on.
I'm
okay.
genuinely so excited.
So,
I have no idea what
yeah,
this
you
is.
better be. Okay.
To
so,
anyone listening at home in the podcast, we apologize. We'll put up some screenshots or something. somewhere.
Definitely.
Don't worry,
Yes.
we'll cover it off that way.
So what is more American than NASCAR and the Daytona 500?
Ah, that is
Hell yes. Oh my
sexy,
God,
man.
thank you so
Hell
much.
Show it to the
yeah.
class. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Love it.
But also,
Very nice.
look
Thank
at these
you.
shorts. Those are all yours.
The material is what really makes them as well. They're very
They-
shiny. You can't really see up there, but
You guys don't have. Yeah, there we go.
wow, they have the
I'm
Virgin
assuming-
Mary on both. That's beautiful.
I'm
That's
assuming
lovely.
you don't want me to put these on right now.
Actually, these are you.
Oh, those are.
Wait.
No, you do not have to
So
put them
they're
on.
fine, are they?
So these are yours.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank
So
you.
the thing is that I told
That's
Jake
fantastic.
that I was raised Catholic, and he's really
he
doubled
really
down on
has.
it.
He has. Thank you. That's
But
beautiful.
also, you need a dumb shirt.
Like what?
Ralph needs a dumb shirt.
Oh, please.
So
Absolutely.
check out this. This is a pineapple playing tennis.
Beautiful.
And it says tennis any rum from Tommy Bahama. Do you guys know about Tommy Bahama?
Is it
I know.
a chain restaurant?
Are you thinking of Margaritaville,
I
Jimmy
don't-
Buffett?
No, that's the other guy.
No.
Tommy Bahama is a barter of fine luxury goods, but it's usually just Hawaiian shirts and
Okay.
bullshit.
Beautiful.
So here you go.
All right,
it's
thank you.
5 o'clock somewhere,
Thank
margarita
you very
time.
much. I love
but
it.
Also,
It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you very much, Jake.
Thank you, Jake. Oh, wait.
Oh, and hats as well.
Oh,
There's a Yankee
we got a
hat.
Yanks hat.
I've always
You're more of like a
wanted
Mets
one.
guy.
I'm like a Mets guy.
You got
I think
Mets
the team
energy.
that just lose all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. I love it. I
Oh
love
my
it.
God. Thank you. Well, now I feel shit.
Well, I know, right? Way to
As in,
upstage us before we've
you
even
guys-
done anything else.
No. So the thing is, so for mine, Ralph.
Go on.
You, I assume, coming from Australia, the Commonwealth, you probably have access to pretty good, like, chocolate and stuff. So I felt like you had that covered.
Okay.
So I wanted to get you something a little closer to my home. I'm
Sure.
from the very, very northeast of England, almost Scotland.
Yes.
Anyway, these are absolutely delicious, and I'm
I know, because
genuinely
we have them in my country
No!
too. Yes. As a member of the Commonwealth, we have all the things.
So for
okay?
people listening,
So
what is that?
So it's like short. It's Walker's shortbread, and
Yes.
it is just the crumbliest,
amazing.
butteriest biscuit to have with your tea.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah, but
I
for,
love them.
But for Jake, I feel like you've really come out on top for this, because I have actual British dairy milk.
Oh,
that's
man,
nice.
yeah,
the
I've heard
real
about this.
stuff.
This is the sacred Jedi text. This is.
I don't know if any of you have been between the halls 2 and 3, but someone did throw up in there. And I walked through it earlier. I'm going
What does this
somewhere-
have to- okay.
No. American chocolate, Hershey's, smells very similar.
To the throw up?
To
Is
the
that,
throw
why
up.
did everyone make that sound? Is that like a bad thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But that, once you've had it, you will never go back, I promise.
Okay. Yeah,
I
cool.
wanna-
And
I
will
wanna eat
be-
it right now.
I will be your dealer. I'll take 20%.
That's fine. Okay, thank you.
Well, in a similar vein, actually, our proudest export is also a biscuit. And I thought I would be kind and bring Tim Tams, which
Whoa,
everyone knows and loves.
I've heard of these.
However, I feel like you have to earn Tim Tams in order to be able to enjoy them.
Right.
Right.
So no one's got a cup of tea. We're not doing
We're
the
doing
Tim Tam
No one has a
Slam.
cup of tea, but we do have something else.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, honey.
So my question to you is, have you ever actually tried Vegemite before?
I eat a lot of Marmite.
Oh, that's easy for you then. This is easy.
So I think like Marmite's my gateway drug.
Okay, perfect. So Jake, have you ever had Vegemite before?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Or if I did, I
Do you-
had a teeny tiny bit.
Okay.
Do you want to do a bump of Vegemite?
Put a what?
A bump of Vegemite.
No, I want to
Please.
do a whole. Give me like a. I'm going all in.
put your
gotta-
finger
you
out.
gotta-
It's a
yeah,
squeeze.
yeah.
It's a squeeze. It's a squeeze.
Give me a squeeze.
Oh shit!
Oh my God.
Hell yeah! All right. Okay.
You were way too excited about that.
But you don't know what you've asked for. Ready?
No.
All right. Ready? This is it. Okay. Ready? Let's go. Oh man. No one ever had. That is about 7 days worth of Vegemite
That-
you might consume. That you've.
Am I gonna die?
I don't know if anyone has seen. Does anyone see the video I did with Reb and Megan from Warframe? So one time I actually did that because Reb and Megan from the Warframe community managers, or Reb's now like game director. But are you okay?
Sorry, yeah, I'm good.
Are you right? Do you want a Tim Tam as a
I
chaser?
raw dogged that,
Can I give you?
yeah.
You did raw dog that.
Yeah.
You did.
Tim Tam chaser.
You've earned it.
Can I
Yes.
interest you, please?
Yes,
All right.
please.
You can hear the crunching sounds through the mic, so that's fantastic.
That's
Please
probably
go
pretty
for it.
rude.
Bit of ASMR.
But I did that with Reb and Meg from Warframe, and
good.
Megan was fine, sort of, not really, but Reb actually threw up. Like she was there on the thing. She like ran off camera. She threw up in the basin, and Meg and I were just convulsing with laughter while this was happening. And that was actually one of my proudest pieces of content. So I feel
What
that
is
was
it?
a really good time.
Just what is it? though?
We
Yeast.
don't. Okay, this is a true story. When you make beer, the stuff that's left over That's what we make Vegemite with, right? As in, like, the excess runoff shit. So that is how Vegemite came to be.
It was like bacon, but like MSG and like weird. I don't know. Nope. I can't even. No.
But you're a good sport about it, so thank you.
Thank you. Well done. It's an honor.
Very well done.
Yes. Tell your people of my exploits.
I shall.
I was going to say, that's how Jake got the key to Sydney.
Yeah, I think that's it. Absolutely, absolutely. So, but thank you for the shirts as well. They're amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
If
you see me tomorrow, I will be rocking that.
It was a long trip to get here, and I feel like the gifts were worth it. Did I tell you, I actually have I told you this, but I actually flew on the Pokey plane to get here. Have you guys heard about this? So I flew on like ANA, and I didn't even know. So I had the flight booked, and I'm walking like down, through the gate and whatever, and I see all these people stopping to take photos of the plane. I'm like, why the fuck are so many people stopping to take? It's just a plane, man. We've all seen planes. And then I get there and I see that the entire fuselage of this plane is just covered with Pokemon. And I'm like, oh, that's a cute thing. Love that. Great. I thought that would be it. But when you walk in, like, where they usually like check your ticket on the thing, they have like this little stuffed like a Pikachu stuffed in one of those seats, just like, and you have to pat him as you go through. The cabin is actually playing the Pokemon theme song as you're going in.
Which ones?
The main one. The
good one?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Did the air stewards threaten to battle you as you tried to get down the aisle?
No, that was it. But the instructional video has like Pokemon putting on their belts and stuff, and like Machamp doesn't put on his belt, and he like bangs his head. There's like this lady in the bathroom like having a cigarette like these ones, and then Jigglypuff kind of comes in and like scowls at her, and it was amazing. So if you ever get the chance to fly to Japan, Pokejet. I recommend it.
Get on that Pokejet.
That's it. That's it.
Well, we've traveled all the way to be here, to be in front of you wonderful people. Two of our friends have also traveled all the way to Germany, and I think it's only about right we bring them out. Mention them at the top of the show. Please give a huge warm welcome to Ben, Starr, and Alex Jordan.
Woo! Woo!
One there, one there.
Either one, gents.
Hello.
So many. Yeah, there's a lot of water there, so that's all yours.
So much water.
I bring more.
You want to see me drink it all in one go?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we got you here.
I will.
Please, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yes, please, take a hit.
Have you had Vegemite? Have you? Oh, no. Now Ben needs to do the same thing. Oh, no. What a shame.
I'm sorry.
What a damn shame. Let's go. I'll give you just a, there we go. Ready? There it is. Just a little taste. There you go. Oh, beautiful.
It's not that bad.
Can I have just a little
You're raised on Marmite.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
I was going to say, how similar is it to Marmite?
It's a bit
Just a
tangier.
little-
Yeah.
I don't want to get it over the couch.
Yeah.
I thought you'd actually already had it, Lucy. Otherwise, I would have given it to you.
It's like if Lidl did Marmite.
But there's something extremely disarming about when you actually look at it come out, when it comes out the little squeezy one and it has the little, there's something about the shape of it and then it's more disarming than just scooping out of
that's true.
The word you're looking for is thick.
Yep.
This is the content you all came for, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Are we going to talk about video games at any point? I don't think so. We'll see, I guess.
Like I
There we go.
said, first live show, everyone.
Yeah.
First live show.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Hello, boys. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, really
Thanks
amazing.
for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you guys, first of all, how's your Gamescom been? Like, what's been happening? What have you been up to? Tell us, what's the deal?
I'm hanging around like a weirdo.
Sure.
There's a game that I'm a part of called The First Berserker Kazan, which showed at Opening Night Live, which I'm able to talk about now that I am play the character of Kazan. Yeah, I've just been experiencing it. Like, I haven't been to Gamescom before. This is my first Gamescom, and it's big. Yeah. It's a big boy.
Unbelievably big. Yep.
I couldn't quite believe it, like how big the halls were, and there's just so many of them. Like, it took me like 20 minutes just to get here.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw you. You walked past me. We were filming something, and I saw you go, and I was like, Ben's got the right idea because he's left it a reasonable amount of time. So when I came in, basically running, the most exercise I've done in a long time. The only thing I run is errands.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy physical exertion.
Yeah. But like, mainly I'm just here as a fan, really, just to kind of experience it, because I don't get to experience these shows in the same way that I would before now. Like, I'm usually here because I'm on business or I've got a job to do, but I just thought, it'd be quite cool to play some games, experiencing it with kind of like no real pressure. So it's been fun.
I feel like we haven't properly introduced your bodies of work, just in case anyone is not fully familiar with what these guys have done. So tell us, what are the games that you have been involved with in the past?
So I'm probably best known for a video game called Final Fantasy 16.
Woo!
And you guys were a big part of that. Like, I remember like being at SGF a while back, and we sat in your hotel room, and we adjusted the lighting to make it
what
look
a mess.
like.
You were very good at that.
Yeah,
that.
I know how to be well lit, guys. Don't worry. And yeah, it's been kind of a roller coaster year, really. Lots of opportunities have come from it, and you guys have been incredibly generous with your time and support. And here I am, over a year later. We announced the PC release; it's coming soon, and it's and since then I've been welcomed into the games community. I've been able to have more opportunities to be in other games, and it's been a real treat.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
Yeah.
And Alex, you and I go back a very long time. I think about 10 years at this point.
Something like that.
Wow.
I think, we kind of met, I should say about the games, shouldn't I? That's the, yes. Oh, wow. Christ. So I played a character called Mr. Hands in Cyberpunk.
I didn't even know that, by the way, until Lucy told me. That was like...
That's awesome.
Yeah, you did a really great job with that.
The thing is, your accent, I knew you were in it. And I got the call from Mr. Hands, and I was like, is that you? Like, it's so good. It, like, in like the most complimentary way. It was like, the accent was so incredible.
My favorite bit was I think it was Tam messaging me saying people thought it was David Hayter, and I was like, I will take that. I will take that.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Mr. Hands' Cyberpunk, I mean, it all started with a game by Telltale Games called Game of Thrones, and I played a character called Asher Forrester. That was a lot of fun. I got to work with Emilia Clarke, like right at the peak of Game of Thrones, and I was like, this is amazing.
Hell yeah.
And I'm here with a game called The Alters, which is by an amazing studio called 11-Bit, who make amazing, brilliant, meaningful games. So,
How many characters do you play, Alex?
So I play 11 characters in that game, who are all 11 different alternate timeline versions of the same man.
Nice.
So they all have to sound believably like they're the same person, but different enough that they've all lived different lives, and also so it's not confusing when they all start talking to each other on screen, you know?
So do you literally have 11 different kind of accents, or...
Yeah.
Really? No way.
Like, it can be tiny things. It can be to do with the rhythm and the pattern of the speech. It can be, one has like sort of more gruff. You go another one a bit more nasal. Sometimes you get some regional accents in there. And I saw someone ask a question online saying, like, if they all are fundamentally the same person, you've got different regional accents, like, how does that work? Like, that doesn't kind of make sense, but it's kind of a stylistic choice. I think a voice is a very important and quick way of accessing, like, the identity of someone. You can hear someone's voice and very quickly kind of get an idea of that's who they are. So we've kind of played around. We've taken a few artistic liberties. But yeah, it's been a lot of time in a booth on my own, talking to myself. Yeah.
Do you have, like, props or anything to get the specific
You know what? Yeah.
voice for each
There's
one?
like there's one character who he hasn't been in the demo or anything, so I'm not going to say what his role is. But like, I have to have like a little coffee mug that I just swirl a little bit of water in all the time. Things like that.
No way. Okay.
Even that, like, sometimes it's just to do with the way you stand and stuff, and it just kind of helps you tap into who they are immediately, because sometimes we can literally do like 5 lines of one and then 5 lines of another and then 5 lines of another, and in the space of an hour you've done all 11 of them talking to each other in the scene. So you kind of, it can get pretty confusing.
Also, I'm going to say something because I know you can't talk about it, so I will say it on your behalf. Alex has recently been announced as one of the voices of Rook in Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Damn.
Yeah.
Woo! That's huge.
Yeah, I was announced, and then a week later, the strike.
Yeah.
And all the US actors went on strike, and so in solidarity, I was like, also we're going to be quiet.
So I will talk all about it on your behalf.
So you guys are not on strike because you are British-based, and but in solidarity, you guys are sort of adopting the same sort of rules that they... Wow, I didn't know that's sort of how it works.
Good question. It's incredibly complex when it comes down to it, because a lot of it is morals, really. Like, this is a SAG strike. This is a strike for members of SAG. This is not a strike for anyone who isn't a member of that. We are members of the British Actors Union Equity. We have draconian strike laws in the UK. They're pretty much set under Thatcher's government. We are unable to strike in that way. Legally strike. We're not allowed to strike in solidarity. We're not allowed to strike in any way, shape, or form. But one thing we have decided is to kind of take everything on a case-by-case basis. And, you know, we're not striking, but you can choose to go, you know what, guys, because you can't talk about it, I'm going to celebrate that in the same way. There are many projects that I'm a part of that have nothing. I'm not a member of SAG. I have never worked on a SAG project. And so those projects I can talk about.
Sure.
But I think we all need to stand in support of the things that SAG stand for, and I think that they are very, very important points. And collective bargaining is one of the most important tools that we can use to fight against things that might endanger, our future success as performers.
Yeah, agree. Totally agree.
Well said.
Very well said.
Yeah. And not to bring the vibe down too much, but do you guys worry about all that sort of stuff with AI and are you guys as voice actors, are you thinking about that in your careers? Because we hear about it in the abstract when we talk about what's going on in the news and oh, this developer is implementing AI voices in their game. But how does it affect you, given that's your bread and butter?
Do you know what's interesting is that anytime I talk to anyone at one of the studios that we record at and I talk to them about it, everyone's on the same side, seemingly. It's just, it doesn't matter if everyone's on the same side if at the end of the day we all have to serve the same beast.
Sure.
Capitalism. And if someone somewhere can cut some costs, eventually, they've got a bottom line, people, it will happen. So it's difficult to kind of understand where we stand with it, but it's nice to know that when you actually talk to people, they all think, we don't want it.
I think people love AI. They love it, and I'm surprised at how many people love AI. Because I sit here and I see it as a useful tool that in the wrong hands can be used for great good and great bad. I see a lot of people online, I'm seeing all of these tools, I'm getting adverts for, you can do this very, very quickly, because it's allowing a lot of people who didn't have access before, access to do cool things. And they see it as a cool thing, and they don't see it as a negative thing. So when we're kind of saying doom and gloom and these things are coming, they don't have that sense of empathy, because they're going, but it means that I now have access to all of these amazing cool things that I wouldn't have before. And I think that we are also artists in fundamentally a capitalist technological medium. They don't care about us. They care about cutting down costs. They care about making sure that you get your product in under 5 years. And if that means using AI to write scripts, if that means using AI to write NPC lines, if that means using AI to replace the expensive post-production actors, they're going to do it because they can, and because we're in such an adolescent medium, they're going to continue pushing for that. So unless people speak up and say it isn't okay, this is quite dangerous, a lot of people out there think it's cool. And that's a hard thing to get around. And to a lot of people, we are actors who are kind of complaining and they're going, yeah, but I can take your voice, Ben, and I can put it through my game. Isn't that cool? And I'm like, fuck no. It's not fucking cool.
Consent is a big thing.
Yeah, and so we work with a brilliant actor called Doug Cockle. He's the voice of Geralt of Rivia. And his voice, because it is so iconic, has been taken and used, and it has been used in ways that are incredibly inappropriate. And so he's been used to kind of basically do awful things, say awful things, and yet his vocal footprint has been essentially stolen and used in inappropriate ways. So those are a couple of the things that we're kind of.
I'll tell you one thing though, that they can cut costs, in the booth. That's what they're thinking. But one thing that AI can't do, right? AI can't connect with a community. Right now, we're going through a time where it's fascinating to see games come out and make a massive, massive impact online. 2 weeks later, everything's moved on to something, stuff that Ben has been doing online with Final Fantasy has helped continue the shelf life, the online social media shelf life of that game well beyond what it might normally have been. And that's just something AI will never be able to bring. It's connecting with communities and genuinely sharing a love and a passion for the work that you've been involved in, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Wow. Well,
Sorry, that went on for some time.
Appreciate that.
That's heavy. Incredible.
As I said, we hear about it all the time as onlookers, and like hearing your perspective on it's really fascinating, and excuse me, really support all that you're doing and your perspectives on it, and so thank you for sharing that. Wanted to ask you, Ben. Final Fantasy 16 just revealed or announced for PC.
Yes.
Are you terrified of what the modding community will do now that they have your voice and they can do whatever the hell they like? Are you worried about this?
I've already seen what people are going people have said. They're like, I'm going to dress Clive up as Tifa, just as Ben would want.
To be fair, that is what Ben would want.
So officially, Square Enix would say, please do not mod Final Fantasy 16. Please play it as it was intended. But you know what? It's on PC. People are going to do what they want. I look forward to seeing Clive as Tifa. Because I want to see more Tifa. I don't see enough Tifa out there. But yeah, it's I think I was done with Final Fantasy 16. I was done with it. Like after the year anniversary happened, we had this amazing concert in New York at Carnegie Hall, where I listened to the music for the first time live in front of 3,500 people, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm putting Clive to bed. I'm putting this game to bed, and I completely forgot that it was going to come to PC. And then suddenly it's coming to PC, and this entire new audience are going to find it, and people who, it was limited to PlayStation 5, so all these people who've been waiting for it to come to a platform that's available to them. It's available on Epic and Steam at the same time. I'm looking forward to seeing what people think of it, because it's a game that's changed my life, and I can't wait for more people to kind of experience the stuff that I personally worked really hard on.
Totally. How has this chapter of life been for you? Because it feels like, obviously, we didn't really know who you were before Final Fantasy 16. Now it seems like everyone knows who you are. You know what I mean? You've had this huge explosion. How has that journey been for you? Because you used to do screen acting. And now you're a video game voice actor. Like, how has that gone?
That's cool, isn't it? Like, I love it. This is where I feel at home. This is where I love. I'm not leaving anytime soon, so I'm sorry if you hate me. I feel it's interesting, because being an actor, you never know what jobs you're going to get, what you're going to do. You're kind of at the whim of just the fates. And the fates said, Ben, you get this opportunity. And anyone who's aware of my online presence is kind of relentless, because I really didn't want this opportunity to pass me by. I really wanted to kind of say to people, I'm here to stay. I love you. I love being in this space. And I love playing with the audience in that way. And it's been a whirlwind. A lot of it's been online, so this stuff in person is very surreal. It's very surreal still talking to you guys. I call you friends, but it's still weird. Because I remember the first day that you mentioned on the Friends Per Second podcast that you knew who I was, and it was this
You
really...
clipped it and you tweeted it at me.
I did, yeah.
You did.
Because it's the coolest thing, because I think you guys are so cool, and I think the people who talk about video games and structure and build the discourse around the thing that I love are so brilliant, and it's so crazy to be amongst people that I have such a kind of deep affection for your work as well as people. So it's kind of cool, really.
Well,
We're back at you, man. We love you. We love you.
We love you.
Yeah.
Alex, we don't love you yet.
No, I know. That's fine. That's fine.
But we would like
smooth, Jake. Smooth, man.
Do you know what? I was just remembering our first actual in-person interaction, right? So we had connected like online
Twitter
on social media, on
friends.
Twitter friends, And then I can't remember what screening it was at, but I looked down and I'm like, I could see the back of your head 3 rows in front. And I literally just pulled out my phone and just sent a DM going, I think I'm looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
I remember getting that, and I was like,
going,
I had a similar one. So Alex is also in Paddington 2?
Wait, isn't that the one that's like the highest rated movie of all time on
And
IMDb?
it's purely because of my brief momentary appearance. Yeah.
So I had also Paddington 2 is the only it's the only time I've ever seen my dad cry. Ever.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry, that was
Nick.
really...
Your father should cry. Weep, Mr. James.
But no, I had that moment where I was like, oh my God, you're in Paddington 2.
Very briefly, I don't even say anything, but I'm named.
But you know, but you're also you're in the center frame.
Yeah, and in fact, the entire film, the whole thing of the entire film is Mr. Brown going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
That's what makes everything happen. and Mr. Brown goes through a midlife crisis because he loses out on a promotion at work to a young guy in an oversized suit.
That's you.
A young upstart.
Right.
So you're welcome for the entire plotline of Paddington 2, the highest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes.
So you started as a screen actor as well then?
Yeah, I mean, I started, it's actually, to be honest, I did kind of TV, theatre, film, but the first video game I did out of drama school was Telltale Game of Thrones, and that was like a year out of drama school.
Right.
So since then, it's been mainly been video games. It's been my full time. You know, I think I've lost count. I think I've done about 70-ish.
70 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was going to say, because I didn't realize until you told me, but like you are the male voice in Demon Souls, the Blue Point remake.
That's a lot of different. Yeah, that's grunting and grunting.
But I mean, I was going to say you've done a lot of grunting in the booth. You're in Baldur's Gate for.
I
certain
made the sex noises for Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah! Give it up.
Whoa! We have a celebrity.
Yeah.
A genuine celebrity.
Yeah, I stood in a booth and people watched me through a pane of glass as I kissed the back of my hand and I had to close my eyes so I couldn't see them.
What was the audition for that like?
The audition was a friend of mine who's a producer texting me and saying, would you like to be in Baldur's Gate 3? And I went, absolutely, obviously, yes. But that's because we're very close to release and I'm very aware of how cool this is going to be. But that means, what could this be this close to release? And she said, well, now that you've said yes.
That is awesome.
Audition. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so the other way that you guys know each other is through a project that you work on together.
Yes.
What is that?
We do a D&D actual play series called Natural Six.
Okay. Nice.
And we play Dungeons & Dragons because we're nerds. And we play with Doug Cockle, Geralt of Rivia, with Aoife Wilson, who is now communications developer at Larian.
Okay.
She runs the new Larian channel from Hell. We have Holly Bennett, who used to work at PlayStation Access, now works, used to work at CD Projekt. And you.
Me.
Yep.
You.
Me.
Harry McIntyre
and then
is
our
our DM.
is Harry McIntyre, who is an incredible performer. He was in The Last Kingdom, but also plays Noah in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And we just have a great old time. And Harry's built this amazing world, and we stream it, but we have it on YouTube, and we edit them together. And we're on episode 13 now. It's fun. Lots of people like it.
It's amazing. Yeah, right. So, and how long do you plan to continue doing that? Just
forever.
Okay.
Forever.
Right.
We've got this incredibly cool mechanic that we kind of announced a couple of weeks ago called the Deck of Many Friends, in which we decided that we wanted to get a lot of our really cool friends to design characters that could be a part of the game. And so we have Sam Lake, Troy Baker, Matt Mercer, Anjali Bhamani, Abu Bakr Salim. They've all kind of created these characters, and we've had them basically drawn onto these deck of cards that at times of dire need, the number on their card will replace the roll of the die, and their character will kind of like come into play.
Summon.
Yeah, we summon them into the game. You know, we got some boulders. We got someone called Neil Newborn to come and do something for us. Like we were like, that's a really cool way of embracing the D&D community, embracing the video game community, and combining it with what we do. And we're just kind of trying to say, if you've never played it before, come and watch us, because a lot of us hadn't either. And we try and make it as accessible as possible.
Yeah, we like to leave in, if there's mistakes and stuff, we'll leave them in, because it's a way of, people who are learning themselves, accessing, and it's kind of, if they see people making mistakes, then they think, oh, it's fine for me to make a mistake. People who feel like D&D from the outside can be quite overwhelming when you first sit down and try and look at all the rules. If you see people sat there also still going, I need to check the rules, that, maybe we'll make them go, okay, cool, yeah, I can jump into this. It seems like a pretty fun time.
Yeah.
We're just nerds doing nerd things, you know what I mean?
Love it. Respect. That's what we do. Can totally sympathize. So, yeah.
Well, like we said, we wanted to do something a little bit different for Friends Per Second Live. You might have noticed that I brought this little box with me.
Woo! Doesn't even know what it is yet.
We got a box. All right, nice.
We got Team Giant Bomb in the house. Hi, Ron.
Yeah. Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb crew in the back.
Giant Bomb crew. Love you guys. which meant that we did a little bit of brainstorming, and then I got really fixated on the fact that whiteboards are fun, dry erase boards are fun, and we thought because we have you guys here with us, we're going to do like a little challenge.
Yeah. You sit next to Jake.
Yeah. So, Jake, do you want to explain what Ben and Alex are going to be doing?
Yes. So I am going to give them both a video game character to draw, excuse me, and they will have 10 seconds to draw that character.
That seems mean.
Only 10 seconds.
Can I ask a question? What is this?
That's a microphone.
So one side of it is you can.
It's a vape.
It's a pen. But then the other side is when you're done drawing, you can just rub it off.
Oh, nice.
I went down a really fun Amazon rabbit hole getting these, and I'm going to take them home with me.
Let's see. Do you guys need any extra colors?
How long do we have?
You have 10 seconds,
10
buddy.
seconds.
Did you just say extra colors? You think in 10 seconds we're going to get lines and then color in?
You never know. You never know. Maybe I'll give you like 11, 12. We'll see.
I'll take blue
pick a
for
blue.
fun.
Okay, so let me just get my list of
Again,
characters.
anyone listening to the podcast at home, we will have a VOD up, so you'll be able to see this.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay.
Maybe,
All right.
maybe we'll tweet
So
out the pictures
way, I think
Definitely.
Jake is going to tell them what to draw, and then Lucy and I were going to have to guess because we don't know what the characters are.
Okay. Yep.
So that's
And
it. So do you want to
also-
switch seats actually, so you can get next to Jake?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
yes. And also everyone
Yeah.
in the
So
audience.
and then you've got to guess
And
what
I've
it
got to
is?
guess
Yours-
what the
yours
hell
top
you've
of the
drawn
name.
and see if I
feel
actually guess
so
it
much
correctly. Okay.
pressure.
I've always liked you the most, Ralph.
No, thank you.
So I'm
thank
going
you.
to show it to you. Don't start
How
drawing
dare
until I
you.
say go.
Yeah.
So we're both doing the same one?
No.
Okay.
I will show you. Don't go until I say go. Got it? Okay. Got
Okay.
This is you.
Okay.
That's you.
All right, we have a counter here, so ready?
Yes.
We've actually got a clock in front of us.
Okay.
Ready? And you can start in 3, 2, 1, go!
1, 2, 3, 4,
10 seconds is
5,
not a lot.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Pens down.
and done.
Pens down, pens down.
All right. Show the class.
First of all, show the class. Can we guess what this is?
Oh,
Can we-
yes.
can we-
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what?
There we go.
Can we tell who it is?
Nice.
Can anybody tell?
Can we get a
Sonic?
guess?
All right, good. Good.
We got him at the back. It's definitely Sonic. Yes, definitely Sonic. Well done. Very nice. Very nice.
All right, Alex, hit us.
I really don't want to now. 10 seconds.
That's pretty good. That's beautiful.
It's
Yeah, Goku.
Yes.
All right.
Goku?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that was the most.
No, right, I'm not being funny. I looked over your shoulder and I was like, Zac Flair? Maybe?
Zac Efron.
Okay,
mean,
next
maybe.
up. Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing good.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Round of applause.
We're making it a little bit more challenging now.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
That's you.
Oh, what the?
Don't start. And Alex, that's you.
Oh my God.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
1, 2,
3,
3, 4, 5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8, 9,
10. All right, hands
11,
down.
and done.
All right.
Oh my God, no.
All right.
Alex,
You ready?
You want to go first?
Alex going first. Okay.
Okay.
It's got it, Alice. Come on.
Don't be nervous. Can anybody guess who that is?
God. No.
Fighting game
Is it?
character.
Is it?
All right, yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. See, you are an
Yes.
artist.
Do you know what?
What is it?
Wait,
What is
is
it?
Chun-Li.
Oh, nice.
Wow. What a pull.
Nice. Good job. Good job.
All right, Ben, I gave you a layup.
If you get this, you get a Tim Tam because all
Yeah.
that's drawn
Yeah.
is a stick man with a shield.
Just, does anyone know? Does anyone know what character I really like?
Yeah.
Squall.
Squall. Boom.
Nice. Come find me after for a Tim Tam, Mike.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, we got time for one more?
Yeah.
These get progressively harder.
Yes.
Oh.
The thing is that Jake is the nicest human being, but I think we're seeing that he has something of a sinister side
Yeah.
when it comes
Fun.
to challenges.
He's mad.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh God.
This is you. You know the game, right?
As in.
This is great content for people
No,
who are listening, isn't
let me
it?
give you a different one.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
give me a different one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and Ben,
Ben's
this is
getting-
for you.
What?
5, 4, 3, 2,
2,
1, and go.
Go. 1,
Right.
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hands up.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know who that is.
That's pretty good. Okay.
Alex, that's really good.
Let's
I mean,
do.
it's a panic.
Let's do Ben first.
Okay.
What the?
Yeah, what is this, man?
Oh,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to get it.
No.
But when you know what it is, it's great.
Okay, if
So,
anyone can see, it
can
looks
you
to be.
describe, Ralph? Can you describe?
It
what
looks
you
to be some sort of map, and these are. This is an aeroplane, and there seems to be.
It's not that one.
It's
that one.
Fortnite.
wow. Okay, all
I
right.
know it's meant to be a bus, but
Yeah, that's just a straight airplane. So no, that doesn't really
I
work.
said you could have drawn like a banana guy or a tomato
Yeah,
man.
Peely.
yeah, but I drew this. I could have done a lot of things.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, you know?
All right, Alex.
Oh, he signed it.
An artist's signature.
All right.
It's really good.
It's not good, but it's
All right, everybody.
I'm trying to pick you up.
It is good.
Nice.
All right, now Ben. All right.
Well done.
Very good.
Good job, boys.
Thank you very much to our guests.
Thank you.
Amazing drawing.
Yeah.
We did actually want to leave a little bit of time for questions with the guys. So does anyone, we actually have Tam assisting us with a roving mic. Is Tam around?
There he is.
There he is, thank you,
There he
Tam.
is.
So if
Roving
anyone
mic.
has a question for one of these boys, we've got a little bit of time for questions now, and then we're going to do some more questions at the end for just us.
Yes.
So if you have a question, you can throw your hand up. Yes, please,
right
at the
here.
front here. Ken's got you.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Big fan of your work, your body of work. Having worked in the industry, it's very nice to see other people who work in the industry. My question for you guys is, what is your personal favorite voice acting that you did, big or small? And how was it working with voice designers as a whole?
I've got such a boring answer for you. No, because I think, actually, the best bit of voice acting I've done is I can't really talk about yet. I'm really, really proud of something that is coming up, and but yeah, obviously Clive changed my life. Cool. And there's a particular scene in Final Fantasy 16 that I'm particularly proud of. You know what? I'm gonna get really serious with you.
He's good for this.
No, and this is like this. I apologize if this is like real whiplash. So I talk a lot about the fact that my father passed away during the making of Final Fantasy 16. I had to stop recording. I had to go and basically kind of like go home for about a month and a half, and I had to write my dad's eulogy. I had to sort out everything, and they basically put recording on hold. And the first recording session I ever did back in Final Fantasy 16, they didn't know what to do because it was essentially me at my. This isn't really a spoiler because it happens in the demo, which you can play now. Is I had to go and be at my father's grave as Clive. And it was an entire scene where Clive is talking about how the fact that this guy is the greatest guy that he ever knew and all of that stuff. And I would say as a performer, you should never bring your shit to work. Never do that. But it's impossible when your shit is literally in front of you, and you just have to get through it. There's a production pipeline. I'm sorry, Ben, we've got to get this scene done. This is about your dad. You need to talk emotionally about your father. And so I'm so proud of that moment because I was able to turn up to work 3 days earlier. I'd buried my dad, who pretty much was everything to me. And I had to go up to work and I had to talk about how the idea of the parental figure, the father figure, is so incredibly important. And I got through that day of work and I didn't kick up a fuss. Everyone else was kicking up a fuss, but I turned up, I did the job, I said, doesn't fucking matter, guys, you just get on with it. And like that for me is my proudest moment because it was the ability to separate the emotional from the professional and go, this isn't about my dead dad, this is about Clive's dead dad, and that's what it is. So guys, don't fucking worry. You don't need to worry about me as a performer. I can come and get through that, and you don't have to worry that I'm going to be some sort of emotional liability to you throughout this process. So that, I'd say that professionally for me is what it is. And when you're talking about like voice, I would say, I don't know particularly what you were referring to, but I will say the people who are so underappreciated in this industry are engineers. They're the people who sit in that, and there is nothing better than a good engineer, and there is nothing worse than a bad one, because they can cause hours and hours of delay if they don't do it correctly. And to have that synergy between a director and an engineer who knows exactly what take you mean, how you want it done, how you put it in the game, you need that person. So I would say engineers are the unsung heroes of like doing voice work in the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would 100%. 100%. I'll echo that. Yeah.
The game that I can't talk about. We had 2 engineers that worked in tandem with each other, and it relied on not just them being good individually, but them being good and knowing that they can hand off to each other, and it was vitally important. So I'd say them as well for sure. In terms of performance-wise, I think it is Yarn in the Altars. I think it's the upcoming game that I've got with 11-bit. It is the biggest challenge of my career and probably will be until the day I die. It's insanely difficult, but also the writing in that game is unbelievable. It deals with the core of that game is the question, what if? The whole thing of the alternate reality, alternate timelines, it's Yarn's life split at a certain point in time. Who did he become just because of that tiny little choice, that tiny little decision that he made in that moment? And he went on to become someone else entirely different. So you have these Yarns all talking to each other about their own core childhood memories, which was an abusive household, and how they all dealt with that and how it shaped them and how they then changed and what they wish that they could have done. One of them meets another one and they go, you know what, absolutely, I wish I'd done that and I never got to. Or one has a wife in one reality and he comes into this reality and no longer exists, and suddenly he's got to deal with the fact that his wife possibly was theoretical to begin with, never existed. So that I would say it's been an amazing challenge, and I've loved every bit of it. So yes.
Woo.
Thank you. We've got time for one more question for the boys. Anyone else got a question? You can raise your hand. Yes, please, at the front there. Tam, you got him?
I'll be there this time.
Yeah, cool, perfect.
Coming down.
David for that.
Loading. Thank you. There you go. Nice.
Hi. If you could reprise a role already existing, for example, if Geralt's voice actor got retiring or something, who would you choose? What would be your dream role?
Yeah, I know this. I've said this before. So preferably, no. If obviously, I prefer to just do originate roles. That's way cooler because often you place yourself at the mercy of comparison, and you'd never also want to feel like you are not stamping on the legacy that has come before. And I also think that way madness lies, But my dream would be Raziel in.
Go.
Legacy of Kain. I think everything about Soul Reaver, everything about Legacy of Kain is so inherently theatrical, but so passionate and grounded. I think the story is epic in scope, but fundamentally it deals with kind of the internal struggles of free will, purpose. Raziel is at the center of that. He is an agent of chaos, but he himself is trying to look for purpose. And I think that what an amazing role to be able to tackle in 2024, if I ever had the chance.
If it ever happens, they're definitely casting you, though. There's no question. It will happen. You know it.
I'm very loud about it. I love it.
Exactly.
I love that game. I'm really excited for hopefully in the future more stuff to come out about that. But yeah, that would be Raziel in Soul Reaver.
I think for me, again, I think your answer was very good. So it sounds like I'm just going to steal it again, but go, I echo what you say about an original character. So yes, but I think for me, it's going to be Ezio.
That's
nice.
a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. That story, the essentially boy that you meet at the beginning and the man that he is at the end of his life is an incredible story, an incredible journey. Yeah, that would be amazing to do.
Great choice.
Yeah, nice.
Very good
Perfect.
answers.
Lovely.
Well, boys, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
You're both
That's
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
Big round of applause for the gents. Thank you so much.
Woo! All right.
Thank you. Say farewell.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you, guys.
So, Jake, let's. For anyone out there who hasn't heard of Incogni, can you give us like the 15-second primer on what this is?
Oh boy. So essentially your data is out there. There are companies that tend to collect it, trade it, store it. And because of that, you
Broil
probably
it,
end up getting
saute
more
it,
spam,
deep fry it. No, I'm joking.
just awful stuff, right? So you technically have a right to go out and request these data brokers to remove your stuff, but there's so many of them out there that it's like impossible to take on yourself. So that's where our sponsor Incogni comes in. They can help with that. Essentially, all you got to do is sign up. You put in whose name you want to be requested to be removed, and then you set it and forget it. It's got an intuitive dashboard that shows you a breakdown of all the requests, the takedown requests in progress, and it's cool to see happen in real time.
Yeah, I actually signed up to it a little while ago, and I've been really impressed with how much it's managed to clean out my data online. Like you get these reports that tell you how much, how much has been removed, whatever else. But I personally have just noticed a lot less spam email coming into my inbox, like a lot less.
Yes.
And that is something I have actively been trying to unsubscribe from things and whatever else. But at the same time, I'm just getting less unsolicited garbage from out of nowhere. And yeah, I mean, I can only really put that down to Incogni because that's only ever started happening in the last couple of months as I've been on it. So I've been really impressed by it. I think it's really easy to use. I think it's actually really helpful because spending as much time online as we do, like living in our inboxes, not having it clogged up with garbage is really fantastic. And obviously it's also safer because, you're less chance of getting hacked with all your personal data and whatever else. If you'd like to check it out, then you can do that very easily. You can head to incogni.com and use code FriendsPerSecond to get an exclusive 60% off. That's incogni.com with the code FriendsPerSecond for 60% off. Take back your online space with Incogni. A big thanks to them for sponsoring the video.
All right.
All right.
Man, good seeing them, huh?
It's so nice. That's one of the things I love about Gamescom. It's just like bringing people together who, we don't see each other very often.
Totally. Yeah.
Bringing you guys here to see us means the world, truly. But the other thing we love about Gamescom
It's
the
video games.
We're actually going to talk about them. You didn't think we'd get there, but we are.
Yeah, totally.
man.
So we were all at opening night. Like, was anyone here at opening night live? Okay,
All right.
yeah, cool. Quite a few of you. Nice.
There was no water to drink.
Oh my God, we were so thirsty.
We got there and they closed the concession stand, and we were like, "What?"
It was a lot.
There was a guy. Do you remember when that guy in front of us brought in that beer, and everyone just went, "Hey,
Where did you get
where'd
that?
you get that from?
the beer?
Where'd you get that from?"
Totally. But no, it was 2 hours. Jeff Keighley and Shocks hosting.
Yep.
And yeah, we're really interested to hear what you guys thought of, because we haven't even really spoke about it at all,
No.
because we've had so little time together since we've
Yeah.
arrived. Like, we've all had our own separate appointments and whatever else. So yeah, how did you guys feel about the show overall?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think part of it comes from, it felt like there wasn't a lot of buildup of hype or insane expectations. Like, they're going to announce Shenmue 6 at this one, I swear. Like, nothing like that. It was just, my
Why
brain.
did you think Shenmue and then jump 2 games to 6?
I don't know, why not? They
Not
need a couple
sure.
more.
Yeah,
they
yep.
need a couple more.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it felt focused. It wasn't all brand new announcements, but I found the updates on existing games interesting.
Sure.
Stuff I wanted to know, answers I had were, questions I had were answered. So I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I liked it. I mean, I think Jeff does a really good job of keeping expectations in check.
He's like, by the way, no Silk Song, anybody? You're like,
Yeah,
all right, thanks, man.
using the clown picture
That's all right.
from
That's
Hollow
all right.
Knight, very,
That's
very
right.
good. But in terms of the show, I feel like it had a lot of stuff that I was interested in, and then I didn't even comprehend that a new Mafia game would even be a thing, and to
Yeah.
kind of end on that, and the fact that it didn't leak, Borderlands not leaking, they maybe could have done the Borderlands announce a bit earlier to maybe help the movie.
I wonder if that was a thing, actually. Like, were they looking at the backlash, like, we're going to do something quick, just give him a title. It worked for Elder Scrolls, do it again,
But I mean, overall, I think the vibes of that show were really fun.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we have to talk about, though, is Molyneux.
Is Molyneux here?
We're going to jump
Is
to
Molyneux in the audience?
Peter, if you're in the room.
my
Please
go.
raise your hand.
The thing is because Jeff started, like, listing off the games.
Yes,
And you're like,
And
wait
there
a
was
minute.
there
and
was
we
a
both,
slow...
we did these when we looked at each other like,
No.
no way.
No.
No way.
We all we all stood up and cheered in a weird way, didn't we?
I
stood
You
up.
stood up.
Right?
You stood up.
Somebody told me,
He
yeah.
actually gave Pete Molyneux a standing ovation. We're like,
I really like
Yeah.
most Dungeon Keeper, Fable, Black and White. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his lies. They're funny. I don't know.
Wait, hang on. Did you get the cube? The Curiosity Cube?
Oh, I remember that one. No, I didn't.
Were you
No.
tapping away?
No, I wasn't into that. That was bullshit.
2010, 2011, he released a game/social experiment, which
Okay.
was just a cube,
I'm
and you just tapped on it and chipped away at the cube, and at the middle was the chance to create a game.
was it really? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. That one, that's the one, yes.
yeah.
For anyone who didn't hear, it never happened. Surprise, surprise,
Yeah.
surprise. Peter Molyneux, there you go.
The game
no
itself
such
is called.
acorn.
What is the game itself called? The new one? Albion?
Masters of Albion.
Masters of Albion, which is interesting that it has Albion in the name.
Which he's getting a little bit of flack for,
Yep.
given the fact that there is a new Fable coming out.
Yeah.
Allegedly next year, I think, for Fable.
I mean, maybe.
25?
Who knows?
But it's also, he's kind of been like, well, Albion's an old word for Great Britain.
yeah,
You
good
can't do
luck.
that. And I was like,
That's
But they
right.
know what they're doing. Like, you
You're
can't
being
be
a
like.
bit
Mario is a
cheeky.
common Italian name. Like, see how that flies with Nintendo. Yeah? I mean, like, sure.
The game, though, not. So I was like, oh, it's like Dungeon Keeper mixed with Fable. That's genius. And I was in the middle of texting my friend as it was being announced, and I was like, dude, he's back, and he's making a game that's like Dungeon Keeper and Fable. And my friend was like, oh, shit, really? And then I was like, oh, well, like, I don't know if it looks good yet. I don't know. It's early, so I don't want to, but
Sure.
we'll see. That was a highlight, though.
It was a very,
Can
very
we
strange moment.
can we go back to you? I just want your overall like.
Yeah, I really
Dog.
like that show, and I think, and I don't know how the funding for this works in terms of like Gamescom as an entity. Like, I don't know if the German government kicks in some money on this, but there were no ads through this. There was like no credit card ads or any of that sort of stuff. It was just 2 straight hours of video games, and that was fantastic. And I get why Jeff has to do the ads, by the way. He gets a lot of shit for that, but I am very sympathetic. I get it. But it's
This
also-
episode's brought to you by.
That's right, Manscaped. But like, it is nice. It is nice.
Actually, it's Incogni this week.
It's Incogni, right.
you.
But it's actually nice when he doesn't have to do that and he just has an event where you can just roll through the games. It really made it feel like a great event. Like, because I think about Summer Games, I think about Game Awards. I actually enjoyed this show more than I've enjoyed any of those other ones for a while now, just because of how focused it was. Even though it didn't have big reveals, I was like, yeah, this is how to do it. You know what I mean? It just felt top to bottom.
Paced well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he did a really great job with it. So, yeah.
All right, so I think I do want to know what you guys think about Borderlands 4. I know you're both kind of Borderlands cynics.
No, I like Borderlands.
I love
like,
Borderlands too. I
sure.
played the hell out of it.
Okay. You didn't touch 3?
Yeah, I touched 3. I just don't remember 3.
Sure. Okay.
Not to be.
Would you
Billions
be
of guns?
at all interested in a 4th?
Only because I didn't love 3. I'm like,
Okay.
give it one more shot.
All right.
So what I'm interested to see is the trailer to me implied some sort of almost reset. It looked like kind of like a multiverse thing with a planet crashing into another planet. A robotic hand picks up the crazy guy mask. What are they called? The crazy guys?
Psycho?
They used-
Psycho,
Did
sorry.
they
It's been a
change
while.
the name from Psychos?
Say again?
Did they change the name from Psychos?
know.
They changed the
Haven't
name of like one of the
Okay.
enemies because 2010 was a very different time.
Right. Sure.
So
sure.
I'm just curious what that means for the franchise in terms of like a refresh, because I think after 3 it did need a refresh, and I'm curious like because maybe it's like a different world, a different thing, a different time period. Is the tone a little different? Is the humor a little different? Are they going to stick with that type of thing?
Sure. I wonder. I mean, Tiny Tina. Did anyone play Tiny Tina's?
Oh,
that was
yeah.
a pretty solid game, and I felt like
was
it
fun.
found its tone quite well. You know what I mean? Versus 3, which was like very challenging at times to
Yeah.
listen to the writing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Look, I mean, I'm not super excited. Look, I don't love Borderlands. I don't hate it. And I'd play another one. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sure,
Yeah.
that's it. But that wasn't like the standout for me. I'm also just very cynical about logo reveals at this point. Like,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
just showing me, I think, like, we already know Borderlands 4 exists. Now we know it exists again. You
Now
what
we
I
know the
mean?
logo
So-
is yellow.
Totally.
Yeah.
You're not going to
totally.
believe this.
So,
Again, still waiting for Elder Scrolls 6.
yeah.
Is
of course.
that was what 6 years ago at this point?
Yeah, about that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
God.
there was Black Ops 4. Sorry, 6. What am I talking about? 4. That was a while ago. I actually found myself quite liking that trailer. I don't know why, but I just really felt. There was something about it that really worked for me.
I'm worried that I'm going to become a Call of Duty person
No,
again.
you're not.
No,
You
I
are
actually
not gonna
think I
become a- come
might.
on.
No, because I used to love Black Ops.
Right.
Like that was, I mean, I played Modern Warfare 2, liked it a lot, but never really did the multiplayer thing. And then for some reason, I was at university, depressed and not really going into classes.
We call that gamer mode.
Gamer mode. And Black Ops came out, and something about it really resonated with me. And I prestiged in that game. And I think at one point my roommate had to be like, we need to get you off that. So I dabbled with Black Ops 2, a couple of other Call of Duties.
Yeah.
What was the one with Kit Harington? And there was Troy Baker was
yeah,
in
of course.
one.
There's
There's
a
a
ton of
Kevin Spacey.
yeah, well, I don't want to bring him
Right? We love him. We love Kevin Spacey, don't we, folks?
Sorry,
should I not say? Wait, I'm kidding. No, we definitely no.
But no, everything I've seen of Black Ops 6, I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, that looks like it might scratch an itch.
I mean, like, look, it's 6 to 8 hours of like campaign fun. I don't plan to touch the multiplayer. I'm like, get it on Game Pass. Sure, why not?
But the way they're talking about movement and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah.
if that feels really, really good,
Yeah, sure.
I might. Because also, users of the podcast will know I've had a long love affair with Overwatch, and I think it's sort of done. I don't have.
You need something.
I don't have a Destiny, Ralph. I don't have that game.
Well, right now, yeah,
Neither do
that's
you.
the whole other thing. So, yeah.
But no, I don't have that game that I can just boot up and go back into. And so maybe it could be Black Ops.
Did you play Marvel Rivals?
Not
the
yet.
beta? Okay.
But
yeah.
that trailer was a bit of a dig at Overwatch because at the end it says like all
the
heroes
characters are
free forever or something. I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, that trailer reinforced the. So I like Marvel Rivals, what I've played of it, but the way they do the characters and the voice lines feels so unlike all those characters. When you select the Punisher, he goes, "I'm no hero, I'm the Punisher." And it's like, really? And then Captain America shows up in the trailer and he does the MCU line, but he's like, "I can do this all day." I'm like, I don't think that's how that feels to say that, but okay.
I agree completely. Yep. The Space Marine 2, you guys didn't play the preview for that one, did you?
I haven't played it.
I still haven't touched it.
You love it so much that I'm like, again.
It honestly is amazing. I'm pretty sure it's on the show floor if anyone gets a chance to play it. Yep, fantastic. It is one of the best things I've played this year. Wow. And because I've spent like 10 hours with it now, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't think people are ready for how good it is.
I'm so excited.
So, I mean, like, I'm not even a huge Warhammer fan because that's a whole thing to be into that community, which is terrifying.
I thought you paint the little guys. No? No, I thought you did. Or you read the books.
I've read some books.
Okay,
I've read some
that's
books.
pretty good.
But there are like 400 books and I've read like 2 of them. You know what I mean? So, no, that continued to look fantastic. Path of Exile 2 is another one.
Yeah.
They announced early access November 15th. And that one I actually played when I was at Summer Games Fest.
Yes.
That also felt absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Didn't play it, but Gamespot had one of the devs on the show, and he was playing it with Kurt.
Okay.
And it's really weird, like when you're running an interview, because also I was just like, ooh, can you go in there? Can you do that? I want to do. Can you just pass me the controller? Can I have a go?
Yeah.
But it looked really good.
It is fantastic. I actually interviewed the game director. I forget his name. I'm sure someone in the audience knows. But we had like a full interview, and he was talking to me about. I'm like, so how many bosses have you got in the game? He's like, oh, we got like 120 bosses or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. How many of those are repeated? Because like Diablo 4, for example, has like 120 bosses, but it really has like 30, right? And he's like, 0 of those are repeated bosses. And I'm like, how long is the campaign for this? He's like, clocking in at about 60-ish hours now. Like, unbelievable. Like, it's going to be huge. It's crazy that that's free. It's really nuts. Interested in your thoughts in like Dune Awakening. Because that got
I'm very
a
excited for
gameplay
Dune
reveal.
Awakening.
Obviously, we're all massive Dune nerds for the books and movies.
Very
How do you
Dune-pilled.
feel? So, what did you feel about this gameplay reveal?
So I have seen Dune Awakening in kind of behind closed doors, hands-off things a couple times. And so I'm not really one that... I don't think I will do the survival, as in like the PvP stuff. I don't think I really want to do that. But the thought of just being dumped on Arrakis... And I'm desperately trying not to do that. Have you all seen the TikTok of the Shai Hulud Trump? Every time now.
It's me, Shai Hulud.
It's me, Shai Hulud. I do it in my head every single time. But no, so the thought of that, and like I know that they want to put in riding the sandworms.
Do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was an interview where they were like, it's not going to be there at launch, but it's something that we do want to have to actually
expansion.
do.
Yeah.
I would pay for that expansion. Look, I've played for some Sims expansions that have even less than that. So, but everything about it just like gathering for resources, building bases, then kind of like teaming up with friends and taking out other people. The thing that I'm probably not going to be doing is like there's a bunch of spice in the desert and we all have to, that doesn't really appeal to me, but like building a little house.
Building a little
pleasant
house
little
in Arrakis,
house.
of course.
Right in the middle of the sand where a sandworm can gulp it up.
I always think where I'll retire to, and apparently it's Arrakis.
Yeah. How did you, because we talked about it a little bit, I think we're kind of on the same page.
So I'm cynical to these types of games, but I was really down to give this one a shot because I love Dune and I want to live on the world of Arrakis. I'm ready to go all in.
It seems very inviting, yes.
The only thing is that for me, looking at this gameplay, it wasn't really what I go to Dune for.
Sure.
Dune has some great sci-fi concepts, but like for me, it's not about the vehicles and the lasers and like that stuff, the warfare aspect of it. Or yes, the warfare, but not that like cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm in it for like the culture built around the desert, the religion, and like how does all that work? And you know, from what we saw, it felt very Fremenless. It felt very gun focused, which is very unlike Dune, the IP, completely. So I'm gonna give it a shot, but yeah, I'm still a little not unsure about it.
But I'm interested to see how like the Imperium stuff works and like the broader political systems and factions and stuff. And we haven't really seen any of that.
I don't know. I wonder how much of that will exist. I don't know. They did talk about that, but yeah, I do wonder. What I always find fascinating about you, Jake, is that you have this weird soft spot for strategy games.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not what I expect. You're into, like, Tony Hawk.
Because I'm, like, dumb.
Tony Hawk and Batman. And then you're like, oh, I also played some weird medieval town builder for 18 hours, yesterday.
I love building worlds. I love being God. I love civil engineering.
Where did this even start? Like, where did this love for these sorts of games come from?
My uncle showed me, like, Civ 2 or 3.
Okay.
And
So it actually started with Civ.
yes.
All right.
And I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then eventually, when I got like our family computer, it was Sims Mania, but I got the bundle that was Sims and SimCity 2000. Oh. And I was aware of it from the there was one for the original Nintendo, right?
There was?
Super Nintendo.
For SimCity or not Civilization?
No, SimCity. SimCity,
SimCity, yeah.
Super Nintendo, yeah. So I was aware of it, but I had never really played it. And SimCity 2000, I fell in love.
Yeah, that was amazing. I agree.
And now I look at real cities and I'm like, why do these suck? Why didn't they just do it like that? It's so easy.
Sure. So having said that, then were you excited for Civilization 7?
Civ 7 is tricky because the fan base, so they really perfected a lot of things with 5. 5 is like the gold standard for a lot of folks, and some people out there just want more of that.
Right.
But 7 to me reads as very experimental. There's like 3 ages. Each age, you are a different civilization if you want to play through kind of like a campaign.
So you can't stay with one civilization all the way through?
I'm sure there's an option, but like their main mode now is to do that.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see what that really means. I need to see like how your actions in the past will reflect a different society going forward. That's what they alluded to, but they didn't really actually explain how.
Okay.
That to me is really interesting. Right. There's a couple of other little things. I had watched like the dev thing after O&L. And it does seem like they're doing very different stuff. They're, instead of just like, here's another one with new characters, they're trying to like rethink the play model a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Where we have another grand strategy game, city building game, I'll talk about in a little bit.
Is that Ara?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. So have you played Ara?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I guess we'll talk about that. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool, awesome. And what about first Berserker Kazan? So speaking of Ben being on, have you guys played that one yet?
No,
yes.
I
Okay.
haven't.
All right,
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
you have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's a Souls-like.
I played
beat
it
your
as well.
ass.
It actually did beat my ass big time. Yeah, but I actually quite liked it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was a fan of it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's very similar. It reminded me a lot of Code Vein.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that kind of like linear action, like, you know, like Korea/Japan action game. It just, it came together pretty well, though, I found.
It hit.
So,
yeah, the art style, but also the fact that it's based on something. I didn't know that. I thought this was new IP, but this is based on something that is unfortunately slipping my mind. But
it's
something
like
older.
Dungeon something, DNF. It's like one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. One of the most exciting reveals, I think, was this secret level thing.
Oh.
So if anyone missed this
Yes.
announcement, it's basically like a production house who usually works on cutscenes for video games. They're like, well, what if we made TV episodes based upon different video games? Like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know how long the episodes are. but they're like really highly produced TV shows or single episodes based upon these different licenses. They had Armored Core, they had Sifu, they had, I don't even know what else, like a whole...
God of War?
Second?
Space Marine?
Space Marine, God of War, like a whole
there's a
bunch.
lot.
Yes, the
Mega
guy
Man.
was up there.
Mega Man, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy up on stage was getting really emotional. It was like, I love that shit. You know what I mean? You could tell how much he cared about it.
Because he's Tim Miller.
He's Tim Miller. He's legit.
So he's the Deadpool director?
Yes.
I didn't even know that, but like it just seemed, so he directed what, the first Deadpool movie or something?
Yes. I believe the second one
Crazy.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a serious person who's done some incredible shit, like, and now he's making this show about video games. How did you guys feel about that?
I'm very into it. It's amazing to see that they got all that together, all those
Imagine
things.
the IP battle they would have gone through to get that done.
But I have spoken to one or two folks here on the development side that their game is in it, and they're very excited about it.
Okay.
Because it's almost like a new opportunity for their thing, their world, their story to get out there without them, investing $1 billion and failing like Borderlands.
Yes.
Sorry.
130 million, thank you very much. Just to be clear, yes.
But I mean, look what Fallout, the show, also did for Fallout, the game. That was, like pumping people back into those games, into 76, into Fallout 4. I'm probably going to be Lucy from Fallout for Halloween this year. Just seems easy. But also, it's just like, it's easy. But no, I'm really excited about it because like Blur has consistently done just like beautiful cutting edge work for years. Like you will watch one of those, like they used to do a lot of Ubisoft trailers and stuff, and you'd look at them and you're like, that's a Blur. That's a Blur trailer right there. And so I'm really excited to see what this could be. Because I think after Last of Us, after Fallout, I haven't seen Borderlands. I have this renewed hope in transmedia.
It reminded me of Animatrix.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is one of the coolest things ever,
You're right.
in my view. Like, but it's sort of different. I think this is all similar artists, obviously, but just like different projects, different anthology stories being told. I love that, and so I'm actually super into it. So I think the other one I was really interested because Indiana Jones. So we got to see proper gameplay there, but I know you've seen like behind closed. Both of you have seen that. I haven't seen that.
Yep.
So is what we saw on Opening Night Live, is what we've seen of that game so far publicly similar to what you've seen behind closed doors? Does it look better behind closed doors? Because I feel like right now we've only seen very quick snippets of gameplay, and it's like, do you know what I mean?
That's sort of what the behind closed doors.
Is that what you got as well?
So we saw, it's what's on the show floor. If you're here at Gamescom, you can go to the Xbox booth and they have like a little theater presentation of Indiana Jones. That's what we saw early.
Plus a little more.
Yeah, we had like a different introduction from the devs.
Yeah.
And there was like a live Q&A at the end. So this was like last week. For me, I was never really an Indiana Jones person growing up. Like watched him a couple times. They'd be on the TV in the UK Sunday afternoons.
Sure.
But I never really, I liked it. But the thing is that I love machine games.
Yeah.
And so their involvement makes me more excited for Indiana Jones. But also the way that taking pictures, putting it in a journal, that's the kind of stuff that I love. The more tactile, investigation, puzzly stuff. And so that's kind of got me very, very intrigued. Also, I think Troy's Indiana Jones voice is very good.
It is very good.
Yes.
I'll definitely have to give him that one, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because also at this point, Harrison Ford is in his 80s. Let that man rest.
A video what? Fuck off. Yeah, totally.
I'm intrigued by it.
I like it. It has the DNA of Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. Some of the people from Machine Games worked on that, and it just feels like that. Like the way it transitions from first to third, the energy behind the first-person combat. You can block. You can kind of do light parries. You can stun an enemy, finish them. What I'm curious to see is how it all really goes down. The developers did tell me that you can perfect stealth a level or like a sequence, which is very interesting to me. But a lot of the times it seems very much constructed around you sneak around a little bit, thin out some guys, you get spotted, Indiana Jones chaos happens, and then that's... So I'm curious to see how that actually unfolds. But it does look satisfying. Like every punch has like a wha-bam! Like they go the whip every time you do the whip. It's like krakow! Like they're really
Give me
going
that again.
for
What
it.
was that? Sorry.
No, sorry, I will not.
Right. Just one time deal. All right.
Yeah, I think it definitely seems promising. They said it's their biggest game that they've made, but we were talking about this. The Wolf games aren't that big.
Yeah.
But still, I think from how it's structured, it seems like there are like hub areas, more linear areas.
Yeah.
You know, you can explore a little bit. Like you can be doing a main mission and find a key, and he's like, "Oh, what's this key for?"
Yeah.
And you can go off the beaten path or backtrack and maybe find what that key unlocks. So little things like that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested. Also, can I just ask a question to the crowd? Are they giving away Indiana Jones hats? They are. Okay. I thought everybody in Germany just liked those hats. Okay. All right. Good to know. Thank you.
Oh, shit.
They look great.
Yeah.
They're
I
cool.
think actually one thing that's been really interesting about the indie reveal is the level of discourse it's produced around Xbox, because which has really been surprising. So basically, it's coming to PS5 next year, and I think a lot of people are very upset to learn this, because I don't know that they've necessarily been listening to what Phil has been very subtly but also very clearly saying. So he was actually quizzed about this recently, and about like, well, why is this coming to PS5 or whatever? And he says, you know, we're gonna keep learning. We said we'd watch. We said what I say when I look at our franchise is getting stronger. Our Xbox console players are as high this year as they've ever been. We run a business. It's definitely true inside of Microsoft. The bar is high for us in terms of delivery. We have to give back to the company because we get a lot of support from the company. That's just amazing. And we have to do what we have to do. So I don't know. Is this discourse like surprising to you? Everyone's hand wringing thinking about like console, games coming to PS5 from Xbox.
It's just annoying at this stage, isn't
Really?
it? Well, not annoying, but it's very weird because it's like a cyclical thing that we're going through, at least a lot of times this year, especially when it pertains to Xbox and PlayStation. And, people digging up old things that Phil has said.
Yes.
And I don't know,
It feels like just a very long breakup.
Yes.
And like Xbox fans aren't willing to accept that part of it is over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. And actually, I'm really interested because we always hear that Europeans don't really buy Xboxes. So, because we have Europeans here, hands up is if the Xbox is your like main driver. Is there anyone? Two people. Okay.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4,
3
5,
people.
6,
All right.
7,
4,
8.
5. Okay, we got 5. No, and that's not only shame, but it's just interesting to know because we always hear about like the European cut through. So the market share in Europe is so much less than it is in America when it comes to Xboxes. So I was just quite interested to see how that would land here. But I mean, obviously, Microsoft is shifting. They're evolving as a business. They are a multi-platform publisher now. It is a bit frustrating that Phil hasn't just straight up said that. He's kind of been saying it slowly and painfully over the last 6 months and just hasn't fully said at this point. That I think, I agree, that's annoying. But that's the reality. You know what I mean? That just is what it is. And I don't know. We'll see how much that strategy pays off. Whether or not like Sony follow them down that path. I don't know.
I mean, Sony's dipping its toe into obviously PC publishing.
Sure.
I think I get it. Like, growing up, you would be, you're a PlayStation kid, or you're an Xbox kid, or you're a Nintendo kid, and that was very much
Dreamcast kid. Baby.
Dreamcast.
That's
well,
right. That's right.
I only had one Dreamcast friend. And
Really?
we would go around and be like, all right, what you got? What you got?
Nice.
But that was very much, it did dictate a lot of what you could do. But now we are a culture of convenience, and things like Steam, things like streaming. It is annoying when things are locked to one platform, especially if you don't have it. And we're so used to having instant access to everything.
Sure.
And also, it's just nice when everyone gets to play, I think.
Sure.
But then,
No.
I know.
Yeah, I kind of disagree because I'm like, no, I still like the idea of exclusives and platforms battling it out, but I know it's an outdated idea in large part.
It was so sexy, though. It was so
was so much
interesting
fun,
and
man.
juicy.
No, that's the thing.
Totally.
Where it's like, Sega versus Nintendo,
Yeah,
the adverts, the jabs, everything. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm getting a bit too saccharine about it. We can move on.
We should do a live event that's a funeral for the console wars.
That would not be remotely weird, of course.
Nintendo, the last one standing.
So that was, I think, the major stuff from like opening night live. I was and obviously there's lots of bigger games that we all know about, but we have also been able to play some smaller stuff here at Gamescom. And I think it would be cool if we could just shout out like one game that we personally played, like a little gem that we'd like, I don't know, share with the audience. Something hopefully like put this on your radar, you might say, which would be cool because I definitely have played some cool stuff. So did you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
That really stood out for you?
I played a smaller game called Rainbreaker. Rainbreaker, like R-E-I-G-N, Rainbreaker.
okay.
It is a medieval punk style game, which is a very cool mix of words in my opinion. And it's essentially like a Hades.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like if people are thirsty for more Hades, this is a very different kind of alternative thing for that. It's got a story driving it. It's got like some ideas driving it. Like you're this big, strong lady, and essentially you're fighting back against this like evil queen that like controls the whole and like hoards all the riches and stuff. But it's all centered around one weapon, a giant javelin that she wields.
Okay.
But it shifts into different abilities, use cases, and stuff like that. But like the vibe, the music, the art style, it's like Hades, like top down, like that type of thing. Character art that pops up when they talk is absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I think it just might be something worth keeping an eye on if you're like after Hades 2, you're thirsty for a little more.
Yeah, right.
Also, they take medieval punk to like the music as well.
Okay.
So like they got like pop punk, but like with also then there's like lutes and organs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice.
Rainbreaker.
Awesome.
I want to give a shout out to something. It's not a full game, but as we're here at Gamescom,
Yes.
and if you haven't played it, you should go to the Xbox booth and do it. They have made a VR World of Warcraft experience where you are on a mount and you fly through
Azeroth.
Thank you. Never played World of Warcraft. And it was, I've done a lot of VR, a lot of good VR, a lot of bad VR. This was one of the coolest VR experiences I've ever done.
No way, okay.
The thing is, it was so good. I was hearing about this on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I actually heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Like
People at
were coming
opening
up to me,
night
have you done
live.
this? I'm like, I didn't even know this existed. All right, yeah, sure.
And so it was one of the first things I did when I got in yesterday. And the thing is that I've actually played some really cool stuff that is still embargoed.
Yes.
So I will definitely talk about it in the next episode. But if
Yes.
you are here at Gamescom all weekend, definitely go to the WoW thing.
Play the WoW thing. Is that for WoW 30th? And
Yeah.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of sad that there's no BlizzCon this year because you could definitely tell this would be the big draw.
Cool.
about
I'm going to be cheeky and do 3 because I love these
This
so much,
mother-
right? So the first one, there's a game called The Life of Goldman, which I'd never even heard of before.
You played
Yes,
that?
I played it. So it's from THQ Nordic. It's like a small studio. It's hand-drawn art, like think Cuphead, just as beautiful as Cuphead. I was so blown away when I saw it because they sort of pulled me in. They're like, hey, I was there to check out Gothic 1 Remake. And they're like, we really want you to check out this other game as well. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. That was fine. I saw it. I'm like, fuck, man, this is incredible. I played it. You play as an old man. And the main thing that you have is a cane, and you can like change different parts of your cane on the fly to like use it as a hook for stuff and like a bouncy pogo cane. It's incredible.
Can you also go like Super Saiyan or something? Like I
well,
saw
maybe,
the trailer.
I don't know, later maybe you can.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
trailer, he
what
gets
I played.
superpowers.
But honestly, it's a really beautiful game, and I
Man, I'm glad.
honestly, it had such a strong impact on me. I really recommend checking it out. It's wonderful. The other one was a game called Stormforge, which imagine a 90s cartoon aesthetic survival game, okay? And I was like, okay, this is nice gimmick, whatever else.
You making notes?
Yeah.
But then I was talking to the team about it, and they're like, oh yeah, we've also got full modding tools built into the actual game client. And they started showing me all this shit. And it's like, what the hell? They're basically able to build entirely new games in this. And it's made by this small team of like 20 people. Plus, they can actually import any asset from the Unity store, and it converts the asset so it looks like that 90s aesthetic, like, it was amazing what they've done, and it was so ambitious. And again, it's one of those things where I walked in expecting one thing, walked out feeling totally different. So really fantastic. And the final one is a game called Can, which is a rock climbing game, right? So you might have seen like Jusant in the past and whatever, but this studio had previously worked on Fury, that like boss rush game, which was sick, and they also did Haven, which is a more exploratory like flow game. But yeah, this is like a rock climbing game where you actually control each individual limb, and it's most analogous to like Death Stranding in terms of like being aware of your body, and it's about the struggle to get to the place and the satisfaction that comes from that. And I played it for half an hour, and it was so good. I just loved it. So yeah, that's the stuff that I love these events for. You know, like going to a PAX or whatever, you go to the indie section and you've never even heard of a game, or you just saw like a little trailer and then you play it for yourself and you're like, damn, man, that's incredible.
Stumbling upon things, yeah.
That is
that's
the most
best way to
rewarding
do it.
that I find. So Can, Stormforge, and Eternal Life of Goldman, honestly, put those on your radar.
And Cairn is
really
C-A-I-R-N.
C-A-I-R-N.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because it was at Summer Game Fest.
It was revealed.
It was revealed.
Yeah, with the lady that kept screaming as she fell.
Yes.
She was like, "Rah!" Like,
Yeah, that was good.
She's going at
Yeah,
it.
I
I'm
felt
really
that.
glad to hear that one's good because that's my.
It's a good one,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have like 15 minutes left, and I reckon we should probably do some Q&A.
Yes, I would love that.
Some Q&A.
Okay, some live
All right,
Q&A.
cool. So we got Tam out in the audience. So please, we'll try and get to as many questions as we can. The Tam's there. We love you, Tam. Keep your hand up nice and high. Tam's going to find you.
We on?
And we've got about 15 minutes before we have to wrap, because then we've got to clear the stage.
Hi.
This question's for Shillip. What happened to the Baldur's Gate 3?
Thank you. Thank you.
I always feel really bad about that. Yeah, like I think, and I said it in my end of year, like 2024. Sometimes you write something and you're like, this sucks. You know, like what I wrote sucks, and I think I find it with things that really impact me. Like the other time it happened was with Outer Wilds, where like that's the greatest game I've ever played. Yep, and I try and write something, and I'm like, this is a really shitty review, and it's like there's a lot in you, and you feel like unless you get it on the page properly, then. So yeah, the short answer is I wrote like thousands of words, didn't like any of them, kept trying. And then you're like, look, it's time to move on to other things. That was honestly what happened. So, but at the same, as I also said, it's like, you also think about what you have to add to the discourse when it comes to this job. Like, you could just because we all watch all the things, right? We all watch we're all watching Nakey Jakey and Jacob Geller, and we're all watching all of them. It's like, what have you got to say over and above what those people have already said? And maybe you have one or two things, but if they've already made the best video, and like, do I have anything else to add on top of Nakey Jakey's Starfield video? Probably not, right? I haven't even played Starfield, but it's probably fine at this point, you know? So that also goes through my mind as well, you know, and I feel that game was very well covered by a bunch of people. So that's the truth of Baldur's Gate. I apologize.
Thank you to Edgar for that question.
Thank you.
Cool. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Obviously you have very big channels, and whenever you mention like maybe some cool things that you saw or some smaller indie games or whatever, they probably get a huge boost and like they're like all eyes on them. So how do you deal with that kind of pressure of, okay, I have to choose the right thing so that it deserves to be recognized more? Are you aware of that you actually influence them so much?
That's a very good question. Yeah, I think about it with big and small games. Basically, I try not to think about it, not to be hung up on it. Like I don't think it's good to approach your opinions and your work that you put out there. If you have any pretense of like feeling like a kingmaker or any I think that totally will make you either pull punches and it just seems like it could be messy thinking about that. So yeah, to be honest, it doesn't really cross my mind. Once in a while, I'm like, oh man, these are like, you know, I'm dunking on a game that people love, like worked on. But yeah, no, I try not to even think about it. It has to be natural, right? Because I think people wouldn't give a damn if it wasn't natural. I saw this cool indie game, I loved it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm just talking about it because I want to talk about it. I hope the best for basically every game I like and see and have an interest in. So yeah, that's really it.
I think that's a real big part of it. Like I've been doing, like I just hit my 10-year anniversary at Gamespot.
Woo! Woo! 10 years.
A long
10 years.
10 whole years. But I think just the way that discourse, etc., has evolved over time, I prefer to be putting more positivity. And so on FPS, if I really like a game, you will know because I will gush about that game. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I think this indie developer deserves it, or they did this. It's genuinely because I'm very excited about something and I just want to share it. And I think the most gratifying moments come from when people are like, oh, you mentioned this game, I really liked it. And that's the only thing that I want to do is just share good stuff. Because sometimes it's like, definitely over the past decade plus, you know, I've said stuff about games where I'm just like, was the dunk worth it? Like people put time and energy and worked on that stuff, and I said something that, like, looking back, I'm not really proud of, and so I'm trying to focus my energies a little bit more on the positive side, unless it's the Gollum game.
Nice.
Then it's get him, get that little gross boy.
I think for me personally, the way I solve that problem is it sounds ridiculous, but it's just like by just always talking about indie games, and I have an easy excuse for that in the sense that I have a weekly news show, and I have a slot where I always do it. So that question's not difficult for me in the sense that I don't need to prioritize, because I find that, you know, I have enough throughput, enough bandwidth to be able to talk about a lot of indie games, you know what I mean? Yeah, but if I was only ever doing like one every month or one every 6 months or whatever, I'm sure it'd be a lot more challenging, because yeah, there's a lot of indie games out there. So yeah, I'm fortunate to be in a position where I can talk about them a lot. Because that's the other thing as well. It's a blessing to be able to talk about indie games. This is something else that that's a reality.
Yes.
Most people who are doing what we do can't talk about indie games because they're not lucky enough to have like a bigger audience and the kind of audience that's interested in it, right? And so they have to just focus on the bigger stuff. Totally understand that, right? So again, we're fortunate that our audience is interested in this stuff. We're fortunate that we have a big enough audience that, you know, they turn up. And so we can talk about indie games without it hurting the algorithm, right? Because again, if we upload a YouTube video for a little indie game and it gets 12,000 views, then the YouTube algorithm actually punishes you for that. It disincentivizes you from talking about less popular things.
Yes.
And that's one of the pressure content creators face when they're thinking about indie coverage, you know? So again, we're kind of protected from that, which is really nice, and that's how we solve that problem.
Knock on wood. Thank God.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you to Nico for that one.
Cool.
Hello.
Hi.
It's a question targeted to all three. How do you balance reviewing a game that you have a lot of investment in, like let's say when Schiller reviews the Destiny expansion? How do you balance your personal deep investment compared to your critical view?
Sure.
I can start. I use it as part of like it sounds corny, but like the story I tell. Like my journey, like I will always be up front in a video and be like, hey, I love this shit. I was so excited about this one. Here's how I feel. Yeah. I think, at least for me, to ignore that or try and push that aside, like, I don't know, it's hard. So it's like, why force it? Like if I'm looking forward to something, if I have high expectations of something, I won't ignore that, and I'll also try to, in my work, acknowledge that up front. Like, hey, I love Star Wars so much, or hey, I thought this game looked amazing. Like, I think it's just good to be up front and be real and normal. Normal's the word I always try and use.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more freeing? Because I don't do traditional reviews or anything. Yeah. Is it freeing for you to not put scores on things?
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Well, I mean, I do
you
score,
do have
though. I have my own thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, numbers... I mean, I think people then have ridiculous conversations about, oh, that game's an 8 and that's a 9. Like, no, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, so that's nice. Just being able to say, I recommend it or don't, I think I've managed to sidestep that with that review system.
Great job.
Works.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just do impressions, as in like your review is just like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's definitely it's definitely nice. But I do feel like every once in a while, like outside the party, like in the rain, looking in, and everybody's like retweeting the Metascores and like looking at all that. Look at that 5 out of 5 star. Like, now I'm like, oh man, I just said 20 minutes worth of words instead of a number. But
put that on the poster.
But that's what I'm committed to. Like that's why I came here. That's why I just want to talk about the game. I don't want to scroll through to the bottom and look. I read reviews. I dive into them. So I made mine the same way.
Yeah. In answer to your question, like I mean, for example, with Destiny, the last 3 Destiny expansion reviews that I have done, I did not recommend Destiny at the end of them, right? So that is, I think personally, I'm always very able to like separate my own personal interests and what I love from what I recommend to other people, if you know what I mean. Like I'm quite aware of that. So yeah, that is how I approach that. I think, yeah.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you to Jonas for that one. Over here. Middle.
Thank you very much. Very nice meeting you. I have a question for Ralph. It's a bit personal, but you might have information for us, but you also could have signed an NDA for it. Do you have any kind of information if Sam will release another music video?
My brother, sure.
Wow, shout out to him.
My brother is, we used to do some YouTube stuff together, we used to do a YouTube channel, and he is also a musician, and he actually is a really talented musician, and he is actually in the process right now of writing another album. So yes, in answer to your question,
We love that for him.
You will get some more Sam music. In the future. It's coming. It's
Imagine
coming.
your brother made you sign an NDA.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
so good.
Family dinner is
Love
going
it.
to be
That's
so
some Succession shit right there. I love it. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. He'll love that. He'll love that he got that question.
Thank you to Benjamin for that one. We're going to go over here. We've got the cool Indiana Jones hat.
Hello there. It's going to be a bit more serious, but I'm curious about your stance on the rampant issue of review copies and how there's a conflict of interest with reviews.
Sure.
How do you handle that? Like, because saying one wrong word could completely cut you off from that person or stuff like that. So I wonder, how does that affect you in general?
I mean, I can start.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep. So I think the idea that you get blacklisted for saying negative things is total bullshit. Okay, let's be clear. That's not total bullshit. I have heard some stories over the years of that being a thing. Sure. Most of the time, though, I would say 98% of the time, it's not true, right? And I think the only time you get blacklisted is if you're dickish about it, And I definitely was dickish earlier in my career, for sure, and I own that, right? And so I look back on some of the way that I used to talk about games, and I feel like I've found a much better equilibrium now, where I'm able to be critical without being dickish, you know what I mean? So I think that, in general terms, that's not really a thing, and you can just be really honest. And as long as you're professional with your criticism, it's fine, Like Ubisoft, for example, I've said a lot of shit about Ubisoft, and they still, they will send me review code, you know what I mean? And like Square Enix and Final Fantasy 16, I still have a perfectly fine relationship, and all the NFT stuff they did, and all the fun we had with that on the channel, you know what I mean? Like, that's still fine. Like, there's a balance and a line, and as long as you're able to be professional about it, I find 99% of the time, that's it. And yeah, again, I have heard the stories of otherwise, sure, but it's so rare. And most of the time, review copies are not handed out on that basis. I think as well, people see it as an ethical thing where like most reviewers are trying to please publishers, and they're not. They're trying to please their audiences, because if they don't please their audiences, then there's no audience. And it doesn't matter if a publisher sends you a code, because no one's listening. Do you know what I mean? So that's the focus. And I think as well, bottom line, if you ever feel as though a reviewer is being dishonest or pulling punches, like, you will smell it and you will not go back to them. That's the truth, right? And so you watch all of us and you think, okay, you've made a decision that you might trust us or you might not. And that's how it goes, And that's the guiding star for me personally. It's just like, just say what I think and don't be a dick about it. And most of the time, that's a pretty good North Star to point towards, I find. Yeah,
I totally agree. It's just about being professional. And so I have kind of a warped sense for this, because I kind of had a very weird trajectory. Like, we built a lot of game ranks without any access, any publisher access. Like, we didn't get a ton of review copies. Like, I only just started getting Sony review copies a year ago.
That's right.
So a lot of game ranks was built on just winging it, getting some review copies, just playing a lot of stuff on our own. Yeah. So now it's like we're in it, and we're not like, oh man, we need that review code. We better be nice. Yeah. We don't care. It's like a bonus for us, which has been nice. But yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to what you said. It's about. It's almost like scared to use the word trusted. I mean trusted not in the sense that they're giving you a review code and they're like, oh, he's going to give it a good review. Trusted in the sense that you are a normal human being. You are a professional. Yeah. You agree to embargoes. Like, if anybody's trying to do that stuff, you're good at communicating. That's it. Yeah. You can lambast a product.
Yeah, totally.
And then have dinner with a colleague the next day. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. And I think, to Ralph's point specifically, because I also feel like it was something that happened a lot back in the day. Like, in my old job at Jinx, I gave Assassin's Creed 3, I think, a 6 out of 10. I got a phone call.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
It's more people, as long as you're delivering the criticism and you're not being a dick about it, people get it. They want to have that. They want to hear that criticism. They want to understand what they could do better or what they could have done better. And it's about being mature about it at the end of the day.
That's it.
Yeah. We have time for one more very quick question.
Yes.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
That was Avi, thank you. I'm going to go with Monkey D. Luffy over here.
Nice.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, thank God you're here.
See, when I say about an indie game that I love, I will talk about it all the time. That game in particular.
So, a lot of people I feel walk through life think about if ever I write a novel or something, it would be this. Is there like a fantasy video game that you would create if you had the chance or the ability to do it?
I think for me, it would just to do it, to work with people, developers. Like, I have respect for them because to me, they're super geniuses. Video games are magic. I have no idea how they're made. So honestly, if it was like a dream video game, it would be like Tony Hawk with guns and swords, of course.
Right.
But it would be really about just like the bucket list aspect of it would just be doing it. It's not something that I personally have a lot of interest in, but yeah, the opportunity to work with incredibly smart people doing a cool thing, that's got to be such an experience.
Totally.
Not to speak for any developers in the audience, but like, you guys are cool. Keep it up. Yeah, shout out to developers. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I personally am like really obsessed with the design ethos that underpins Outer Wilds. And I feel like that way of like Metroidvania of the mind, and it's applied in games like Animal Well and like a small number of others, it feels so untapped. But it also feels so central to how you could design so many games in the future. So like, I don't have a specific game I would want to make, but I would have that core set of mechanics or a discipline I would be really interested to explore very deeply, and that's where I would go. So basically, I just want to get hired by the people that make Outer Wilds, and that's it. That would be if I ever quit YouTube, that would be what I do, right?
I think I don't have an idea for a game. It's more to what you said. Developers I would work with, teams I would work with, and that's the experience and like coming up together. Because I don't know how to make a game, but I would love to learn from people who do make games and understand how the sausage is made. And so it's a very interesting question that is very kind of like an introspective one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some people that I would just absolutely adore to work with, just in any capacity. I'll be your personal assistant. I will take your notes. I'll get your coffee in the morning. Just as long as I can learn from you. And that's one of the things I love about games is that there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, dear users, is the end of the first ever Friends Per Second podcast live edition. Want to give a couple quick shout outs, obviously, to Ben and Alex.
Yes.
Tam. Thank you so much, Tam.
Thank you, Tam.
Yeah. We also have Rob here in the audience who has been taking photos for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to the whole visual crew.
And thank you so much to Gamescom.
Yes.
Gamescom for hosting us. Incredible.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for you guys for coming. We had no idea if it would be like 5 people here today. And the fact that there's more than that is a thrill. So really thank you so much for coming out and wherever you've come from. We really appreciate you being here. And we hope we can meet up in person at some point. We're around the show for the next couple of days.
Catch us, say hi.
If you see us, please stop us and say hi. We'd love that. And just thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. All right, Jake, what do you got to say?
Oh, the catchphrase. Ready? Everybody say it with me. Tie your shoes and go to bed.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Do you want to get a picture?
All right. We'll take our stuff. Oh, you want to do a photo quickly?
Yeah.
I don't have my camera. I don't have my phone.
Here, we'll take a selfie.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it.
Do you guys mind being in a photo?
All right, everyone want to be in a selfie?
All right,
All right, we'll do that. We'll do it around this way.
And then I promise we will get off your stage. I'm so sorry.
Ready?
Ready? 1. Everybody say cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Yeah, all right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.